You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. That's a song in my head this morning. Do we love it? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Happy Monday, Soulies. I'm going to start rapping. No, I'm not. I'm going to stop. Uh, Happy Monday, my loves, and happy almost New Year. Happy void space. Don't really know what day it is, what time it is, hence why this episode is dropping a little bit later in the day. I really wanted to surrender to this spaciousness this week between Christmas and New Year where, things just emerge. Dinners with friends and the socializing and the resting and the beach mornings. And at least that's been my experience of it. And yesterday, when I would usually like have the last 24 hours to record the episode, I just let myself have a day. Like I let myself go to the beach with Trent, my little girl, and his brother who's up at the moment, and have a swim in the ocean and go and get breakfast together, and then go and buy some Tree of Life clothing on their Boxing Day sale, of which I'm wearing. Actually, this will be my first YouTube video, so I'll stand up so you can see the skirt that I am wearing. Oh, you can't really get it all in. It kind of looks like a sack, but it's very frilly. I'm really going for like bohemian fairy core aesthetic this coming year. Um, so did that yesterday and then came home, actually finished a book in 2 days, which I do not do anymore. That's going to be one of my things for 2026. I'll talk about that separately. But I read Love and Virtue by I think her name is Diane Reid. She's an Australian author. I picked the book up, I think, because Zoe Foster Blake recommended it. She often recommends books in her stories, and I screenshot them. And I've had this book for months, months and months just sitting there. But when you're in the rhythm of life, and unless you've got some sort of deliberate intention to read, at least for me, it just doesn't happen. So I picked it up 2 days ago and really smashed it out yesterday afternoon and then finished it this morning. Anyway, then I went to dinner with two of my girlfriends and we were speaking about, what we want to call in for 2026. It was a really inspiring conversation, very yummy food. And by the time I got home, it was like 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm not sitting down to do the potty now. I'll get up in the morning and do it. And here I am. So I actually got up this morning and wanted to jump straight on at like 6:30 this morning. But one of the things that I have a really good practice that I'm in, which I highly recommend for those of you who have intentions stepping into the new year around your screen time. And I've mentioned this app a few times. I'll pop the link in the show notes. It's called Opal, Opal. And I pay for the premium account, like the premium version of this app, where you log yourself out of socials and you actually can't get into it. So for me, I'm in this habit of at 8 o'clock, is it 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night? It logs me out of socials and I literally can't get in until 8 a.m., which is amazing because it means that I've just got really spacious mornings. I'm not distracted. I wind down before I go to sleep at night where I'm not scrolling. It's really great. But when I woke up this morning, I know that I put the question box in the Soulies chat around your questions that you had for me, because today's going to be focused on New Year's and intention setting and manifestation and these things. And I couldn't get the questions. So I took that as a sign, no, Holly, start your morning right. And so when I finished my book in our sauna, yeah, I'll tell you that story in a moment. I feel so bougie saying that. I'll talk about all of that. Went and had a sauna, finished my book, made a cacao, which I'm still sipping on now. If you're watching the video, here's my mug. Oh my God, I am going to be insufferable with the video components of this. And then went and got my morning sunlight, had a shower. I'm in my pretty, what did I say it was? Bohemian whimsical fairy, something aesthetic. Actually didn't get dressed up thinking that I was going to be recording this for YouTube. But I look put together. It's okay. And here we are. My husband has just taken my little girl out for a swim and breakfast with her uncle. He's staying in Byron, which is like 20 minutes up the road. So here I am. Hello, happy Monday. It was a very long-winded entry to the conversation we're having today. But before I go into all of the questions you guys have around intention setting, goal setting, and 2026 and how to set yourself up for a year that is really beautiful and intentional and seated in vision that will come through, ideally, I want to talk about Christmas. Because I know in the last step, I had my emotional moment around, this Christmas was just me and Trenny and our little girl and Lola, our dog. And I was torn around, not having anywhere to be or anything to do. And at the same time, like that being a good thing. And I could not have anticipated how beautiful a day we had. I'm going to go on the record to say, in terms of the Christmases I remember, it was up there as one of the best, easily one of the best. Definitely the best since being a mother. So, in the last four Christmases we've had with my little girl, obviously, that first Christmas with her, she was 2.5 weeks old. She wasn't yet 3 weeks old. And that was in the throes of postpartum. I had mastitis. I couldn't get the antibiotics I needed because everything was closed. I didn't want to go back to the hospital because I was so traumatized. Like that first Christmas with her, it was easily, hands down, the worst Christmas of my life. And they've incrementally become better and better. But this Christmas was so good. I'll tell you what made it good. Firstly, that we had nowhere to be, that we had no plans. We were on no one else's schedule. And that was definitely something that I had growing up was like, we have to be, all of my family growing up lived in, we were in Sydney, but we had family like down the south coast. And then we had family in Newcastle. Then we had family in Newtown and we had family in the inner city and the inner west. And it was always, the Christmas traffic and being hot in the back of the car and rushing to get there on time and then leave. Like it was just stressful and anxiety inducing. And I have issues with time because of it. We have to be there, we have to leave, all of the things. This Christmas, we had nowhere to be. And that in itself just allowed for so much just ease in our nervous systems, like complete, just chill. It was just a chill time. We got up and it was so sweet. God, it heals the inner child when you have a child at Christmas time. My little girl woke up at 5:30 in the morning. She never does this. She sleeps until 6:37. And she woke up at 5:30 and instantly, first question, did Santa come? Like so excited. She jumped at the end of the bed, saw her sack full of presents. We like sleepily open our eyes and do the Santa thing. And yes, Santa did come. And she ended up getting her Elsa doll that she had asked Santa for a week before Christmas. Santa really pulled a rabbit out of the hat with that one. Santa came through. And then we did our family presents under the tree. And as I said in the previous episode, Trent and I haven't really done Christmas presents for one another for the last maybe, especially since we become parents, so maybe the last 5 years. And I had gotten him the voucher for the Cranio guy, and then I'd gotten him just this little coffee table book, like for the Italian coast, which is where we got engaged, and we really love Italy. And what else did I get him? I gave him one other thing. Oh, some chili oil. Oh, it was like more like a barbecue hot sauce to add to his collection. And for me, it was just like to give him things to open under the tree. But I genuinely wasn't in my head being like, he better have got me something. Like it's just like for us now, especially as parents of a child who is, at that the prime moment for Christmas. Christmas is about her. Christmas is about her presents, her gifts, her excitement, and she had the best time. So the day before, Trent had said to me at dinner, I feel really bad because your present hasn't arrived yet. And I was like, oh, babe, don't even think twice. Like I am not expecting a present. I got you something little. It's so fine. He's like, yeah, and he kept talking. You could tell he actually really did feel bad. He's like, it's up in Brisbane and I have to go pick it up and it only arrived yesterday and I just don't think I'm going to have the time. I mean, it was Christmas Eve. He's like, I'm not going to be able to get it by Christmas, but I can go on Boxing Day. I'm like, you do not need to drive up to Brisbane and back. That's like a 5 to 6 hour round trip from our place. He said, it's fine, babe. Don't stress. It's all good. And in my head, this is what sucks for Trenny. He can never surprise me because of my psychic spidey senses. I wish I could turn them off for him, but he can't. In my head, I went, I'm getting a sauna. And there was no evidence other than he said he needed to go up to Brisbane. He'd organised this on the Black Friday sales. It hadn't come in till that day. And instantly I went, sauna, sauna, sauna. My head went, sauna, sauna, sauna. And so I like acted like I had no idea what he was talking about. And then Christmas morning came around and I had spoken to my mum and I'd whispered to my mum. And I've told my psychic studies students this, and I'll leave it with all of you guys as well. Like, if you ever get a psychic hit about something and you want to like have the evidence that you knew, confide in someone. It's always been my mum. I've been like, I just have this psychic, intuitive feeling. And so that's what I did. I was like, I have a feeling I'm getting a sauna. She's like, why? And I'm like, I just have a feeling. She's like, okay, well, that would be amazing. I'm like, I know if it's true, amazing. So we do the presents with my little girl. We ended up getting a mud kitchen. Thank you for those of you, by the way, in the motherhood episode where I was like, what are more activities for her I can do? And a few of you messaged me and said mud kitchens are the best ever. And we looked in the Black Friday sales for mud kitchens, and they are like a premium price point. But it just so happened, and this is my manifestation skills, which we will get to in this episode as well. It just so happened that our next door neighbor, who's also our landlord, was cleaning out the back, and they had this mud kitchen that his little girl, who's now older, used to use. And he's like, a couple of weeks ago, he's like, do you guys want this mud kitchen? And I was like, yes. So we gave her the, secondhand mud kitchen, but then I bought her, those little potion kits. Like, she got decked out. She got the cauldron and the little, like, all the little sparkles and the gems and the mixing bowls and the wand. And she, from Christmas morning to Christmas night, was making magic. It's honestly the best gift I think I've ever given her. Trent keeps saying, like, you knew that this was going to be good. So thank you guys for the tips. It was the best present ever. Anyway, we'd done the gift giving, little girls making potions outside. Trent pulls me inside in the kitchen. He's like, as I said, your present's not here, but I'm going to let you know what it is. I'm like, okay. He's like, I got you a sauna. I was like, I burst into tears. Even though I had the little inkling to have it confirmed, it was like, I have had a sauna on my vision board. I can show you guys. See that vision board in the back if you guys are watching? There's a sauna there somewhere. I've had that consistently on my vision board for about, I want to say 5 or 6 years. And in my mind, it was always, I'm saving up to get myself a sauna. And the reason is, yes, saunas are great, but also when you have the MTHFR gene mutation, like I do, our detox pathways are compromised. And one of the best health things you can do for this gene mutation is regular saunas. So it's not just because it's like the trendy biohacking thing, although I don't think there's anything wrong with anyone sitting in a sauna and reaping the benefits. It's literally a personal thing for me where it's like for my health and my health journey and to be really nurturing my physical, regular saunas are so vital and so key. And so I burst into tears. I was so surprised because that's the thing. Even though I had the intuitive hit the night before that, I genuinely did not think I was getting a thing. And then we had this chat around. Trent was like, I got it in the Black Friday sale. It's the lowest EMF sauna because obviously that's a lot of his business and what he does is about EMF and just taking care of your light and electrical well-being. And so he basically, I don't know how much he spent, but he's like, it was insanely cheap because of the Black Friday sales. But it's so interesting that I'm even wanting to justify this purchase to you all being like, but we got it really cheap, because that's something that I have really found myself sitting in this curious place of discomfort around having something that's quite a luxury spend and quite indulgent. And what other people might assume that means about our finances or our money, because I know like Trent installs saunas. So this is like his business, his bread and butter. And some of the brands he works for, their saunas start at 10 grand. This ain't one of those saunas. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And this is where I'm needing to, I don't know if I need to do some sort of energy work or clearing or just my own processing around why do I have this little bit of guilt around having a nice thing and receiving an indulgent gift. And Trent actually shared it with me too. He's like, I've really noticed that I felt a little bit guilty around spending my money on this because in his experience of money growing up, it was, you save and it's for a rainy day and it's always hard to come by. And, you've got to work hard. And for me, it was more that like we didn't have money. So we didn't really have nice things. And so I don't know. It's been this very interesting piece around receiving and the new level that I'm at in terms of allowing this indulgent gift. I feel deserving of it and I'm going to use it every day. And we are definitely going to get our cost per use. But more around what other people might think of me because I have one. It's like a status piece or something. And I know it's not real, but I guess it's for me, it's me pointing back to me and going, where do I hold judgment around other people having really beautiful, nice things that I desire too? And what do I make it mean about them and their money? So I've been in this, I haven't spoken it out with anyone because Trent only built the sauna yesterday. So we've had a sauna yesterday and this morning. But yeah, I've been in this process around that. Like it's obvious that I've done the work on receivership because I was able to receive like a gift like this out of nowhere, where I had no idea it was coming. But yeah, there's this part of me that's like, oh, are people going to not like me because I have a nice thing? It's really, I wonder if this is a homeopathic remedy that I'm taking that's like, obviously, as you guys know, the remedy that I'm on now is about me being in my true essence, true expression, shining, taking up space. And yeah, I wonder if this is actually, I haven't joined the dots until speaking it out with you all. I wonder if this is part of that remedy where it's like, being less concerned with other people's opinions of me. And do you know what is really interesting, actually? And I'm not saying that I'm Taylor Swift. I'm not saying that. But obviously, one of the biggest, well, you guys might not know this, one of the biggest criticisms of Taylor is she's a billionaire and no one should be a billionaire. And I get that. And she does so much good with her wealth, and I adore her, as you guys know. But I wonder if it's that because the remedy that I'm taking is the inverted commas Taylor Swift remedy. It's the, as my financial positioning grows and I start to make more money in my business and I start to acquire more beautiful things, which is actually a big thing for me. I'm a second house sun, and my Mercury and my Mars are also in the second house. So materialism, beautiful things, luxury experiences, wealth, it all actually really lights me up and makes me feel good. And I've done a lot of work around actually being able to receive at the level that I want to. But what I haven't really looked at is my own perceived judgments of what other people will make that mean about me. And I know that the remedy I'm taking is not being concerned about what other people think about me. So thank you for helping me join those dots as I spoke that out, because the sauna has represented that for me. Very, very interesting. Just going to have a sip of my cacao. Mm. So Christmas, we did the present thing, we did the gift giving, we had pastizzi for breakfast. Oh my God, Trent's homemade pastizzi. How is this man not a wog? He's not even Italian. He's not even like, he's white as white. Like nothing wrong with that. But this man, even if you saw him, brown skin, tanned as, like makes pastizzi as if he grew up in Valletta. Like he is so, I don't know. I don't know how I found him. He proposed to me in bloody Italy. Like, anyway, he made the most beautiful pastizzi. Like, my nonna would be so proud if she was here. Smashed those and then went, let's go to the beach. So we went down to our local beach. It was actually more cranking, like busier than I expected. I've never had a beach Christmas, ever. I mean, there was a chunk of my life where we didn't live close to the beach, but never have I gone down for a beach swim. And we sat like maybe 90 minutes. My little girl had received from us a swim vest with a little mermaid tail. So she's jumping in the waves, we're swimming, we're lying in the sun. They're playing like beach soccer. It was the best. We had the best day. It was just the best. Then we came home and then I made the lobster rolls. Oh my God, by the way, never had those in my life before. What have I been doing my whole life? Like, can recommend. Trent ended up buying, I didn't realize, 4 lobsters for just us. So on Christmas Day, we had lobster rolls, which is basically you cut up the lobster and then you mix it in with like mayonnaise and celery and like chives and butter, and you cook it all up and then you put it in the rolls with lettuce. Oh my God, my mouth is watering. And then the next day, Boxing Day, I made lobster mornay. So we have been lobstered up to our eyeballs. So this is again indulgent as like we really went all out this Christmas. So we had lobster rolls and we had the leftover pastizzi, we had ham, we had what else? We made so many things, potato bake. And then the rest of the afternoon for us was Trent built my little girl's bookshelf that we bought her. So he was flat packing it and she was outside making magic and I was kind of like lying in bed, like resting. It was the best Christmas, guys. And do you know what? It's testament to choosing you and your family on a holiday like that. Might not be Christmas for you, might be something else. But yes, I had to make some hard decisions to say, firstly, I no longer have a relationship with my father. And so anything he is at that's a family thing, I won't be attending. So that's a big one. As you guys know, I've like grappled with that. But also, when we moved up here, the first couple of Christmases we traveled for, even though we do have dogs and it's really hard to get, oh, we have one dog now, but we had two at the time. And it's hard to get house sitters over Christmas time. So that was always a hassle. And then my little girl's first Christmas, we went and we drove down to my dad's property and then to Trent's mum's place on the Central Coast and to Newcastle. Like we did the whole thing. And then after that year where I was so stressed, and yes, we got the family time and we got the big Christmas, but I was so stressed that I was like, never again are we doing that. And we've stayed true to that. We've gone, never again are we doing that. We love our family, but the financial pressure of traveling at Christmas time, the orchestration of who's going to look after our dogs, the just the stress of being on the road at Christmas, all of these things were taken out of the equation this year and left us with a really, really, really beautiful, enjoyable time. So we really had the best day. And then the last few days since Christmas, it really has been surrendering to that rhythm I was talking about at the beginning around nowhere to be, nothing to do, very loose plans, and a lot of spaciousness to just feel into what do I want to do in this moment? And yesterday, I didn't want to record the podcast. And there was this part of me that's like, no, Holly, everyone's going to want it. Like, you're going to be letting people down. I'm like, you know what? What happens if it's like a couple of hours later than usual? Actually, nothing. And I get to give more of myself in this exchange with you guys rather than if I came home late last night and like was half-assing it because I should. And I actually write about this in my first book, like be conscious of your wants versus your shoulds. Like responsibilities aside, there was a lot of shoulding in my head. Yeah, I should do the podcast. I should do the podcast. It's like, yeah, but I want to read my book and I want to rest. And so it's for me, this kind of window between Christmas and New Year's is practicing leaning on the wants versus the shoulds. It's like I really get to just feel into even what my body wants. So I joked to my friends last night. I'm like, oh, gluten doesn't exist in the window. Obviously, I'm not celiac. So if you're celiac, don't fuck with yourself. It just causes more inflammation in my body. But I'm in this position where I'm like, well, do I want that focaccia special at dinner last night? Yeah, I did. And I had it and it was great. And then I had a steak and it was all fine. Whereas, it could have been this, oh, I shouldn't because I already had gluten on Christmas. It's that sort of thing. So I'm really catching myself in like leaning more into wants versus shoulds. It feels quite nice. I did have a very powerful experience on Saturday without going into too much detail for the sake of privacy of these people. I was invited into a family home to run ceremony. Actually, I haven't spoken this out, so I might get emotional. To run ceremony for a young woman who tragically passed away. When I say young woman, she would have been around my age. And through a mutual friend, I was connected with her mother to run the ceremony before they laid her ashes. And it was such an honor to be invited into that space. It was profound and also the closest to tragic grief, other than my own personal experiences, that I've ever witnessed where, I'd never met any of these people before I stepped in to run this ceremony for them. But can we take a moment around how beautiful and powerful that is for the family to welcome me into their home and say, this is what we want to do to honor her before we say goodbye. It was so deeply moving. I felt incredibly grateful isn't even the word, like moved, touched by the work that I do, being able to be invited into a space like that and to help heal their hearts and to hold them in their grief with cacao. And this is where I get frustrated when, you hear people be flippant about the work, not just that I do, but in general around, oh, you live in Byron Bay and you do cacao ceremonies, haha, like hot chocolate ceremonies. I get I don't get defensive. I get um, maybe frustrated. Maybe there's a little bit of anger there around the complete disregard for how important this work is and how I believe every single one of us could benefit from working with it in some way. And it often is in grief that people find the medicine of cacao. It's really interesting. I mean, grief and love, they both coexist in the heart space in terms of your personal heart space, not my membership. And so it's like when it's like the medicine appears when you really need it, right? And so it's not until someone is in this grief-stricken state, potentially, that they go, okay, I'll give anything a go. And then they realize, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this sooner? That's been my experience when I see people come and go from the Heart Space membership. It's not until they're really in the throes of grief or like feeling loss or feeling so disconnected from themselves that they find the medicine of cacao and go, oh my gosh, I need this. And so it was really profound to be able to hold that space on Saturday. So I've been, yeah, in this like spaciousness, but also that did impact me on Saturday. And so I spent a lot of time crying and processing and feeling really affected. It made me think of mortality. It made me think of a mother saying goodbye to her daughter. And then that made me think of my friend and her experience earlier this year. So it actually spiraled me. Um, and I am so grateful that I have women in my life that actually do hold people through death. And so I reached out to Zoe Bosco because she does a lot of work in this realm, and she understands, and she's a Scorpio too, so she's not afraid of this energy and these conversations. And I was distressed, and she was able to talk me not out of it. She was actually able to validate the crying. It was hours, guys. Like I was just like sobbing and just like so inconsolable. And she explained to me that, there's this real dance between life and death where like to experience people in grief also unlocks more life. It's like this fine line, it's this thread that you're dancing. And she explained to me, like, stop trying to find out why the emotion is moving through you. Just let it move through you, because it's so hard to explain. But unless you've been in that intimate space where you're actually witnessing others in their pain and being that point of focus. And I couldn't cry or break during that service. That wasn't, no, I wasn't there to do that. My job was to hold them. And so it's just a really curious position to be in. And I'm so humbled and grateful that I did that. And I want to do more of it because I know that the medicine is so important. But it took me down on Saturday, and I just had to move all the energy through. And then from Sunday, the sauna was built and I was able to sweat it out. So that is also something that I've just been that I moved through. And yeah, it was very, very humbling experience. It's so funny because I know that I'm going to start to load these clips to YouTube as well. And now I start to look at my laptop. I'm like, oh, in Modern Family, when they like briefly look to the camera, like really Brechtian, like breaking the fourth wall, it feels like that's what I'm doing. Because if you're watching this, you'll see like the angle's not great. I'm just looking into my mic, but then I'll like every now and then look at the laptop. It's very funny. Anyway, so that takes me to today and the lead up to New Year's and the questions that you guys had around how do I set intention for the new year? What is my process? There's been questions around business specifically. I'm going to answer all of them individually, but before I do, I'm going to share what our plans are. And before I do that, I'm going to take another sip of cacao. So, my mum actually comes up on New Year's Eve. She arrives in the morning and she's staying with us that night. When my mum comes up to visit, she stays with us half the time, and then she goes and stays in Byron and half of the time. So she gets a bit of a holiday, which fair enough. So she arrives on New Year's Eve, and she'll be staying with us on New Year's Eve. And she said to me and Trent, why don't you guys go out, have dinner? I'll stay with your little girl. Like, she obviously doesn't call her your little girl. She calls her name. um, And we haven't planned anything. We were speaking to our friend Zoe, who, her partner like knows everyone up here and he's a DJ and he's like connected with parties and things. And so she's like, I'll keep you posted on the plans and what we're going to do. But again, we're keeping it very loose. We're not locking anything in. We might end up like, who knows? We'll see how we feel. We might just want to go to the beach for like a sunset swim. Like New Year's Eves for us, especially since becoming parents, but even like before that, I've never really been a big drinker. Like I don't know if I've ever really spoken about that, but I'm not a big drinker. Never have been. Obviously, my early 20s, maybe not obviously, you have your binge drinking years where you go out and you dance and you drink and you do all of that. Like that, definitely. I had that stage of my life, but I'm not someone who enjoys drinking, like even if there's champagne, I'm like, no, thank you. I just don't like the taste, to be honest. And I also don't like the feeling the next day. And also, I've realized now with the gene mutation I do have, I can't detox alcohol well. So it really takes a toll on me, even if it's in little doses. So I love a margarita, don't get me wrong. And I do love a little like a nip of whiskey, or I like spirits and it's more like sippers. Like I do love a Negroni, but I'll have one and that'll be it for me. And so New Year's a time for me to get wine drunk. It's just not what I do. And I, no judgment. If it's your time to let off some steam and let your hair down and do your thing, like go off. But for me, it's more, I like to wake up fresh on the first of the year. And obviously I also run my New Year's Day ceremony, of which I'm seeing you guys join. I'm very excited. It's going to be so good. I'll put the link in the show notes for you guys to join. You can join without cacao. I did have this question from someone say, I've never worked with cacao before. I don't know if I can get it in time. Is it okay to join without? Absolutely. We call in the essence of cacao, but it doesn't mean you have to drink it. You could drink tea, you could drink water, you can also not drink a thing and just have your hand on heart. So link is in the show notes if you wanted to join ceremony with us on New Year's Day. But for me, it really is less about New Year's Eve and more about New Year's Day and the days leading up and the days on the other side. And Trent actually said to me when he left this morning, he's like, what are you going to do for yourself today? Because, I can get in a hole and go, I'm just going to work. And he's like, no, what are you going to do for yourself? And I'm like, I'm going to record the podcast and then I'm going to start my reflect and project process. So one of the questions that I had here is, how do you manifest for the year ahead? What's your process? So every product I have created in my heart opening store is because I do the thing. And I'm a 3-5 in human design. I have to figure out the thing and teach the thing, and then I go do the thing, and then you guys do the thing if you want to do the thing too. It's why this podcast does so well, because you guys just want to hear my stories and then take what resonates and start to implement that in your life. It's why my books sell, like it's the work I'm here to do. And so when I say I reflect and project, I have a product in my store. I'll link it in the show notes. It's called Reflect and Project. It's $22 from memory and it's journaling prompts. I know a lot of you have it. Like once you've bought it, you just get to reuse it every year. That is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to sit down while I'm still in the energy of 2025 and I'm going to do the reflect part. So I have had reflect and project for, I want to say about 8 years in my business. This has been the journaling prompts that I refer to at the end of a year to reflect on the year that's been. And then beginning of the year to project. That's why it's divided into reflect and project. Okay. And so I did a big update of all of the prompts and the questions last year. It's like I relaunched reflect and project last year. So if you bought it last year, you're up to date with the most recent version. If you've bought it any year before last year, you're missing out on the most recent version. So I would recommend you update that if you haven't bought it yourself. So I sit down and I reflect using the journal prompts. There's hundreds, there's so many on all of the successes, the wins, the achievements, the hard times, the practices I established, the connections I made, the music I loved. Like we go through every area of your life and I reflect on the year that's been. And I do that before the new year. So I'm going to be doing that today and tomorrow. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to journal. I'm just going to write. These are my reflections. These are my reflections. Then in the new year, and I don't have like a strict time. It could be on the 8th of Jan, it doesn't have to be the first day, although for some of you, it might feel good to do that. That's when I go to the project part of, okay, what am I projecting for the year ahead? And a lot of the questions around projecting and the prompts and the way that I like to do it is firstly, and if you've sat manifestation and magic with me, you'll know yes, we want to get clear on the specifics of what, but underneath that, we actually want to know what you want to feel. Like everything comes down to what are the feelings that you're wanting to cultivate. Because once you've established the feelings and you're embodied in the feelings, the magic will land in your life. This is the whole purpose of sitting those Dr. Joe medis that I do. This is like a consistent manifestation practice that I do, guys, by the way. I know I'm constantly talking about Dr. Joe medis. I probably sit them 1 to 3 times a week on average. So I'm constantly establishing in my system, in my cells, what do I want to feel? What do I want to feel? What do I want to feel? So that is a place that I would encourage everyone to start. What are the feelings you're calling in for next year? Not what does that look like? Not the specifics of like material things. What are the feelings? And this is where you can start to, if you wanted to, break it down into what is one word that's going to be your anchor for the year. Now we are going to do an exercise on that in the New Year's Day ceremony where you, if you haven't had your word, you can have more than one word. I actually got my word through in the tea ceremony I sat with Zoe last week. I was sitting in it going, okay, just show me my word, show me my word. And it came through, and I actually think it's the word that I had this year. I forgot my word for this year. So, what I actually do as well is I look back on my projections from a year ago and go, oh, what came through? And how did I work with that word? And what didn't manifest? And do I still feel attached? Like it's a lot of introspection and quiet time, and I do talk things out with friends that I feel safe to share my dreams with, and that is an important um it's an important aspect that you want to be discerning with who you invite into your visions for the year or for whatever you're working on when it comes to manifestation, because you don't want to be on the receiving end of other people's projections as well. So I tend to keep what I'm working on quite close to my heart, just based on, yeah, levels of discernment. And I like to just be in my own process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflect on the year that's been. I'm also going to review my notes from reflecting and projecting last year. I'm going to have a look at the gaps, and then I'm going to, in maybe a week's time, do my projections. That is the foundation for everything else when it comes to manifesting for the year ahead for me. If I don't look at that first, then I'm kind of in a mess and going in blind. For me, I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart. I want there to be structure. I want there to be things I can respond to rather than me just kind of like willy nilly, just going in blind and then like feeling, I don't know, too up in the air to actually anchor what I want. And there's something about me also like writing pen to paper. There's a stat, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's something like 90% of people don't down their goals, but 90% of the people that do write down their goals achieve them. So there's actually something really powerful in the act of taking pen to paper and writing down. And you can call it goal setting, you can call it visioning, you can call it manifesting. The biggest part of this equation for me is, and this is exactly the energy we're in with the Pisces North Node and the Virgo South Node, is vision and call in and meditate and do the Dr. Joe and vision board and do all those things, but then anchor it into like doing action, pen to paper, what like planning, like there has to be both. So I'll do my reflect and project process, and then the New Year's Day ceremony, selfishly, guys, I do it for me as much as I do it for all of you. I want to be in community, and I want to be in a circle where it's safe to dream, where it's safe to vision, and where it's encouraged. And this is what we know about energy. Like when you're in this vibration of a collective of people who are manifesting and dropping into heart coherence, the electromagnetic frequency of that circle is major. And so the ripples that we are all kind of activating with one another, it's like a contagion effect. We're just going to feel more inspired, more uplifted, more motivated. And I want to start my year in that energy. So very selfishly, that's the next part of the process for me. Sitting my first cacao ceremony in the morning of the first day of the year, dropping into what is it that I desire? What are the feelings that I'm calling in? How does that feel in my body? And then allowing cacao, the medicine, to let my heart speak, to jot down, oh my God, I didn't even think of that. What is possible for me? And just, it doesn't need to make sense, just being in that liminal space of the unknown and possibility and potential. It's that portal of the east, right? It's like this is the potential, this is what's coming. And then from there, I love to know the astro intel. So I always sit Jules, if you haven't sat Jules Ferrari's astrology for the year ahead, I highly recommend going and sitting hers because the way that I do it in my New Year's Day ceremony is very different. Jules goes into detail with every transit. I'm just going to be more selective with the transits that I choose, but I always focus on the nodes because I froth on them. So it will be very nodal heavy for me, whereas Jules looks at every single transit that's happens over the next year. So both of our workshops kind of complement each other in a really beautiful way. So then I look at the Astro Intel personally. Like I am planning to launch a new online course. I haven't done one of these in so long. And the timing of that launch is timed with astrological shifts. So that is informing how I want to show up in my business and my work. So keep an eye out for Dream Life Foundations, which will be landing in the new year. It's very exciting. So that's what I do. Then I'll create a vision board. And the vision boards for the start of the year, I will probably do them on Pinterest. So every year on my Pinterest, I have a board for the year. And then I just look at pictures, aspirational pictures, and then I just pin them. And then I have to make sense. I remember one year I was in like my homesteading era. And so a lot of the pictures were like beautiful cut flower gardens and like sheep in the bath. I don't know, sheep in the bath. Oh my God. And like another year when I was really focusing on my modeling, lol, because not lol, like go girl, got a dream, but I've dropped my model agent, as you guys know. Oh, that was the mic. Uh, yeah, it was all like Ashley Graham and Sports Illustrated. And like that was what I was focusing on that year. Like it's okay to let dreams die if you're not into them anymore. I think that's another thing we get so attached. I didn't achieve that thing, or that should still be on my vision board. If it's not you anymore, I mean, the whole purpose of personal development work is you are not who you were a year ago. So change things up, make it fresh, create it new. And for me, that's when I start to become more aware of outside of the feeling, like the visuals that appeal to me start to tell me a story around what I'm calling in. So there was a question of like, what am I calling in and envisioning for myself and my business in 2026? So I'll do these separately. It's I get clearer on that once I've gone through the processes and the practices that I've shared with you. And I haven't even spoken about how I actively manifest. So I'll do that separately to this. But in terms of what I am calling in for my business, no, I'm going to talk personal first. Something that I've really learned in my own experience of life over the last 4 years is the foundation to everything you're seeking has to start with health and home. Has to. I just cannot see it unfolding in any other way because when I had my health and my home taken away from me, that I couldn't function. There was nothing else. Like I wasn't anchored. I wasn't grounded. I didn't have that inverted commas capacity to expand what I was calling in. So for next year and for every year for the rest of my life, my priority is health and home. Health and home, health and home. It's what I come back to. Like when I was doing the tour with East Forest and I was, catching so many flights and I sound like a bloody pop star. Who does she think she is? She was just flying to Melbourne and Sydney. But, when I was like not in my daily rhythm, to come back to myself when I got home, it was my health practices and the practices that make my home feel stable. And so they're just the kind of foundational, it's not like I'm wanting to manifest anything specifically because this year being the year of the snake, and I am a year of the snake, I was born 1989, like Taylor Swift. And the shedding that happens in the year of the snake. I was lying in bed maybe a couple of weeks ago, going, I don't really shed anything this year. I feel like this year of the snake, like everyone's been in this upheaval, and obviously that's been me like the years prior to this. But what's the year of the snake given me? And then I was like, oh shit. I shed literal weight. I shed all of that stuff when I was cleansing, the mucoid plaque that people still say is a myth, but like you guys know, you guys have seen the difference in me. I've shed like 10 kilos off of myself. And this has been something that I've worked for like 10 years. And so this year for me, it was very specific health goals. Like I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to shift all the MCAS stuff and I wanted to detox all the mold from my system. And like there were very specific things I needed to do to cater to my health. I was having lymph drainage every fortnight, at its worst every 10 days. Now it's once a month. So I've progressed immensely with my health. So for me, it's just kind of less of a manifestation and more of like the foundational practices of everything that I write about and saying yes to you. Like that, I live and breathe that book, guys. And yeah, I still don't know how it's gone. I still haven't got my royalties, which is a bit weird. It usually comes through in December, but I don't know how many copies have sold. But it's like that book will change your life if you implement the steps. Like I'm not saying that lightly. That book will change everything if you implement the steps. And those steps are the steps I talk about every week. It's hydration, it's morning sunlight, it's sleep quality, it's the way that you're nourishing your body. It's all the stuff we know, but for me at least, I haven't taken as seriously until I didn't have it anymore and went, nothing matters if I don't have my health. So that is the foundation, like implementing everything in that book as go ahead. And we will be doing a whole module on this in Dream Life Foundations, my new online course, because my God, it's changed the way I see things. You have to start there and then build up. So I guess that's what I'm going to be doing next year is I'm going to be building up. So I am calling in a lot of beautiful family travel. We have our trip to Fiji in May. Do you know what? I'm calling in luxury travel in general. Luxury travel is one of my favorite things about life. And I love beautiful luxury travel experiences. So I'd love to travel for work, like I got to do this year. I'd love to do more of that. When it comes to business, I would love to deepen my relationship with Loco Love and build that out. And I don't know how that could look, but I have lots of ideas. So I definitely want to sit down with them in the new year and share what I would love to do with them. That feels like just a beautiful synergy. And I just really enjoyed my time working with them and Wonderlust as well. So that's definitely one of my biggest focuses for next year is the collaboration aspects of my work and being more of a spokesperson and a voice for in that collaborative aspect. I would love to join to build the heart space community out. I mean, I don't have figures in mind, but 100 members would be incredible. We have consistently about 60. So another 40 of you joining the heart space membership would blow my absolute mind because the ripples that 100 people sitting cacao twice a month that can create not just in our own personal lives but in our communities, like that's my soul work. That's what I'm here to do. I definitely want to have a financial target for my business. I haven't in the last few years because it's definitely been this like incremental getting back in my flow from postpartum. And this will be my final year, as in 2026, with my little girl at home before she goes to school, which is just mind blowing to me. So once she's at school, I'm going to have a lot more space to like do stuff. I don't even know what I'll do. Work more, have another baby. I don't know. So it does feel like this coming year, 2026, is the year for me to really go all in on work and life and big experiences like travel, potentially overseas travel, like, or there will be, and big life moments before things kind of shift in 2027 where I think that'll be when I decide whether, and it'll be a decision between me and Trent, but I think by the end of 2026, we'll be having serious conversations about whether we will have another baby again or not. And I am definitely way more open to it than I was. And the more it's funny because people are like, oh, the further away you get from babies, the less you're going to want one. It's been the opposite for me because the more that I've healed, the more I've seen that next time will be so different. And yeah, it will be hard. There's no denying that, especially because I'm not someone who enjoys postpartum. But there is this part of me that is just being quite pragmatic around, well, if we do have another child, it will likely be in 2027. And so this next year, go hard in all the things that will have to be put on hold when and should and if we are lucky enough for that to happen again. So, yeah, business financial goals and business travel and personal life travel. And the other thing for me, as I said, it's health and home. We are renting this home. We love this home. We do not want to leave this home, but it is, there are just some moving parts to our landlords and what they need in terms of like just logistics, which could mean that we are looking at moving. I really am praying and hoping it doesn't happen. And I will put all of my manifesting into no, we're here for as long as we choose. We're here for as long as we choose. But the reality is there could be a change in our home environment toward the second half of next year. And so just being open to what that could look like. And I trust that. Like, I mean, you know, if it's not this place, it will be somewhere better. And I truly do believe that, but I just don't see anything better than this place. We love this place so fucking much. I cannot express it enough. So they're the kind of question marks I have around next year. Um, what else am I envisioning? I'd be able to answer these questions better when I've done the reflect and project and when I've actually, yes, sat with in and intentionally focused on what it is I want. I want to read more fiction. I'm such a bookworm. I love to read, and I didn't read much this year. And I don't really have a reason why. So now that we have the sauna, I'm going to be reading in the sauna. And like, I finished a book in 2 days. Like, I can smash books out. So I'm actually open to all of your reading materials and suggestions. I'm a big Kristen Hannah fan. I am a big historical fiction fan. So if you have anything of that ilk, I really loved Love and Virtue. So that kind of vibe, DM me your read list because that's what I'm going to do. I've got Sally Rooney's Intermezzo. I'm going to read that. I've read her others and loved them. And then there's the new Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't even think it's new anymore. Atmosphere, is that what it's called? That's also on my list. So I'm gonna start reading more. I did get a DM last night being like, oh bless, basically, you can't read in a sauna. The glue in the spine is gonna make the pages fall out. So that's a bit triggering because I'm like, but I want to read more next year and sauna more next year. I want a habit stack. So I need to find some sort of cover that's going to protect the spine of the book. Um, I also do have my children's book coming out. That's not next year. This has been a long, long time coming. I signed it in March this year. I'd already written it. And so it's been signed, but it's been kind of that's it. And I'm not really going to be editing it until the new year. And it will be a different experience for me because there's the whole component of like finding an illustrator. And my publisher does that, but I obviously have to agree with who. And then the launch of the children's book, which will be February 2027, which would be very interesting if I'm pregnant when I launch a children's book, right? Like that's kind of how I can see it going. But, you know, we just got to watch this space. So there are a lot of things in the works, and I like to, and I did it this year, keep a lot of space in my work life, especially for life to surprise and delight me. It's like I play my role and then I let life fill the blanks, right? And that's not actually just in business, but that's in life in general. Like I play my role and I let life fill in with the exciting, amazing things. Actually, next year as a family, one of the biggest things for us will be that my little girl will be starting to dip her toe into more care because our nanny has officially dropped down to just 1 day now. And so we have her starting in the bush school where I go with her on a Monday. I want to get her into dance class. I want to get into some extracurricular things. She loves swimming. I was thinking soccer, like it just all adds up, doesn't it? But anyway, that will be a big focus as a family is like getting my little girl prepped for school and you know, getting her enrolled into a school in the first place. Like all of this is very much occupying my mother mind of, you know, I'm going to have a 5-year-old next year, guys. Like it's a lot. It's there's so much grief and there's so much joy and she's just the best in and just keeps getting better. And so there's a lot of it as a family in terms of how that will look. She didn't get called up for the Steiner preschool, which is so strange. I've actually followed them up because she's been on the wait list for 2 years and her little friend who was also on the wait list has been in the preschool for a year. And I do need to trust that there's a reason why, but at the same time I'm like, but I want her to go to the Steiner school. So if she doesn't get into that school, like there's a lot of questions that I have around that feels like the most uncertain I am because I'm a first time mom and oh my god, I'm going to cry. Like it's really important to me that she's in a system that caters to her brilliance and her magic. And I know, and I've said this in the past, like it's not mainstream school for her. If I had a little girl with a chart like mine, she'd be going to the local school, no question. She doesn't though. And I can't do what was best for me for her. I have to do what's best for her. And so there's another like community school up here, but there is this stress that I have around like the priority always goes to siblings or people who've been at preschools, and for whatever reason she just never got a call up for the preschool. So I feel like there's this part of me that I don't know, like this is the mother guilt, right? Like, am I failing her? Like, I don't know. It's That's going to be a really big part to navigate for us as a family next year, like her education and what she's going to end up doing for school, because you need to get enrolled in the school before they go to the school. So yeah, that's a big question mark for me, and actually something I'm going to take to my own psychic in February when I have a reading booked. So yeah, these are a few things. I would love to hit a certain financial target in my business that I haven't in a very long time. I haven't really planned out how that could go. So I need to sit down and actually do the numbers and be like, am I actually being delusional here, or is this realistic? I would love more listeners to the podcast, obviously. I would love more of this show in people's ears. I'd love to have a production company pick up the podcast and go, Mama Mia goes, we haven't got a spiritual podcast. Let's get Holly in. Or like, I'd actually love to have that team of support that could actually help me build this out, because I know that what we're doing with this show it's not done anywhere else. I know that. And I'm just waiting for basically mainstream to catch up and realize that this is what listeners want. And this isn't just eye roll, people, a Byron Bay girl talking like spiritual shit, like this is substance and important conversation. And so that's always in the back of my mind. I'd also like to, I'm definitely grappling with, not grappling with, but I've had this fiction book that I've wanted to write for years. And there's been a part of me that's felt that it's too, for lack of a better word, dumb. Like that's actually been something that's been illuminated to me as I've started reading again and taking the remedy around stepping into my light. Is the book that I want to write is not a literary book. It's chick lit. It's chick lit. It's chick lit, and how Zoe Foster Blake writes? It's like that. It's, how I talk? It's like that, but in writing, and it's a fiction story. And I've got the story arc, and it's really good. It's really powerful. I've had it for like 4 years. I'd love to sit and write the book, but I've got barriers to entry with that around. I couldn't even tell you. I think I need to sit with that a bit more, but I would love the opportunity to sit and write another book. The financial opportunity that might not happen until my little girl goes to school and I've got a lot more space and time, but who knows? Never say never. So there are a couple of things. What else do we have here? How do I manifest for the year ahead? I mean, I touched on this a little bit, but the other thing, guys, is I do everything in manifestation and magic. I reshot that last year. So there are new modules. There's a module on radiance and magnetism and how you embody these frequencies. Like that course will, I guarantee, change your life. Even if you've sat it before, it's different. It's completely different. There are some pieces that are the same, like when we go through every area of our life and jot down every single thing we want in each area, like health, travel, business, career, money, friendship, relationship. And then you jot down, jot down, jot down. And then you get to the self-sabotage and the roots, and then you do your 5 whys. Like that is all part of the process. But then from there, it builds out very differently. So how do I manifest? I do everything in that course. I sit and I do it. And I don't need to sit the course again because I'm embodied in what I taught. But I would say if you guys are really keen on actually making the magic happen for you, and let me be the example, because you've literally been flies on the wall, go and first do your reflect and project, and then sit manifestation and magic. But you actually have to do the work. And I was having this chat with my friends last night, 2 incredible business owners, very successful women, very inspiring, beautiful energy to be in. And we were talking about the difference between us going after the things and then pursuing the things and people who don't, is that people don't want to do the work. They actually don't want to. It's like, I just want it to come easy and tell me the easiest thing to do so I can magnetize and manifest. And this is where the word manifest does us such a disservice, because it's not an action. It's like, I'm just going to manifest it by visualizing organizing and creating a vision board. That is literally the top 1% of the work you could be doing. So much of it is embedded in, the kinesiology work where you're unraveling the roots of the limitations that you've uncovered because you did your 5 whys on this thing that you keep coming up against. And you finally realize that that was actually from a lineage piece, or that was your father's, or that was, like the trauma work, the nervous system work that has to come before you then go and create the things that you want to create. Like the two must coexist. So please go and do Manifestation Magic, linked in the show notes. I am going to increase the price of this, I will say, in the new year. I'm going to do a price increase across the board for my products because I've just completely undercharged. And I realize that now. I did a lot of work on money this year. And yeah, so if you're wanting to get it at the price point it currently is, do that now because there will be an increase. And I guarantee, it will change everything for you. That is every single thing I do to manifest in my life and continue to every year. And the final question. Please share how you plan your year ahead with your business. Goals, money, rest, spaciousness to allow invitations, details, please. I know this comes from a Capricorn projector. I love the questions. How do I plan my year ahead with my business? So the first thing I do is I sit down and I do what I said last episode, the stop, start, continue, and opportunities. And I sit down and I write a list, an action list off the back of every dot point from that, which is what I have now. I then, which I haven't done yet, will do my financial forecast and projections, where I will sit down and I'll get a spreadsheet out and I'll basically I'll come up with my target when I do reflect and project in terms of financial target. And this isn't just a number I pull out of nowhere. I'll go, realistically, I feel like I could make this much money each month. And I could do that through, and then I look at the breakdown. This many readings, or this many readings and this many products sold, or this many heart space members and this many readings. I'll do the maths in that regard so I know what I'm working with. And then that will give me the end of the year result. So, for example, to keep things clean, let's imagine that I wanted to have 10 grand months. And so that would take me to an 120 grand year. I would need to then look at every month, how do I hit 10 grand? Because if I'm only seeing 2 clients a week, that's under $1,000 a week. So that's not getting me my 10 grand a month. So is that an unrealistic target? Or do I need to be launching a product that could generate me significant income that then I could sell? Do you see what I mean? There's a lot of planning where there needs to be a level of realism in what you're projecting for yourself financially in business, and then breaking down to, okay, so this month means I need to sell this many products like this, or I need to launch this thing, or I need to, increase my prices, or I need to add more sessions of readings. This is kind of where I get my head around financial targets for the year, which, as I said, I haven't done that yet. I'm also sitting down with an ops manager, and I'll be talking more out the launch of this new program that I am going to be launching, Dream Life Foundations. And so this is where I can't do it on my own, and I will be enlisting the help of other people. And that will be in operations, strategy, potentially marketing this year. And also, I need a VA. I need a VA. If you're a VA, please reach out. So that's kind of how I look at it. When it comes to money and just how I manage my money in my business, it might be really interesting for you guys to know potentially. My price points are determined not just by a random number, but by the fact that I pay GST, PAYG, and these are the taxes in Australia, by the way, because I know this person who answered the questions is not from Australia. So your tax equivalents, and then also my own savings. So I don't pay myself, guys. I do not pay myself at all. I also have my subscriptions for my business. So my Xero account, my Acuity, my Vimeo, which I hate Vimeo. I hate you guys. You suck. Still haven't been able to do my Boxing Day sale because no one's getting back to me. And I'm $400 in the hole because they told me to buy a certain thing and then nothing changed. Anyway, this is all the stuff you don't see behind the scenes. So when I get paid, say for a reading, and you're paying $440 plus GST. So you're paying $480. When I get that $480 through PayPal, $15 is taken from PayPal straight away. It's really steep. So I actually am getting $65. From that $465, I then take 20% of that. So I take about $92. That goes straight into my tax. So 20% of everything I earn, that could be a Heartspace membership of $33. What's 20% of that? like $7 goes straight into my tax. It doesn't matter what the amount is, 20% straight into my tax account. I don't touch it unless it's really dire times. And that's covered. So I know that when I get my PAYG bills, I can cover them. Then 20% of what I earn also. So 40% of my ingoings straight into half tax, half savings. Now, I never saved with my business money until this year. As I said, I've done a lot of money work, and it's been really nice to actually have this financial buffer of safety. So when I have quieter weeks or quieter months, I can still, afford my supplements, or my business funds my health stuff. So I'm completely kind of self-sufficient in that regard when it comes to my body work with Asha, my lymph drainage, my tea ceremony that I might go and sit, my gym membership, like all of that comes from my business. And so that 20% isn't going to pay those things. That comes from the excess. But if I do have quieter times and I've got an appointment, I can still cover it. So 20% into tax, 20% into savings. From there, what are we looking at? We're looking at probably $200 left over from a reading, right? So this is where you can see the big amount and go, wow, Holly's making bank. I'm actually not. I'm paying a lot of tax. And then I'm actually allowing myself a financial buffer like I'm being financially smart, right? So then from the $200 left over, that will sit in my business account for the subscriptions for Vimeo, fucking Acuity, PayPal, all of the fees. I actually do need to revisit how much that is per month, my outgoings to run my business. It's not steep by any stretch because I don't really have any outgoings, but other than the subscriptions, it's about $1,000, $1,500 a month. So that then I need to be selling how many readings I've got per month to cover those subscriptions to run my business. Does that make sense? So it's not like I'm sitting here on these mountains of cash. That's what I want. I want to sit here on mountains of cash. But right now, I need to be smart with the time that I have and the financial outlay that I have, which is why when you guys subscribe to this podcast, when you guys buy one of my books, by the way, I was telling a friend last night, she's like, wait, so you don't make the money of your books? Guys, I make 8% of the book sale. I make about $2.50 per book. So when you buy one of my books, I'm not making that, I'm making $2. This is why the volume matters, right? This is why one of my biggest things actually for next year is an increase of eyes on me. That is definitely something that I want to crack. I have been at the 16,000-ish mark on social media for too many years. Like I want to crack the 20, I want to crack the 30. I want more eyes on me, more ears listening to me so that I can sell more, so that I can make more, right? Like the more books that I sell at $2 a pop, the more that you guys subscribe to this show at $3 a month. Like that might feel like little money for you, but for me, it's like I don't have to do more. These things have already been created so that I can just create and continue to build. This is why the Heart Space membership is so powerful for me, because I'm showing up every month doing the same thing, but more people in there means more income for my business to grow. And that means I can get more facilitators into the Heart Space membership because I pay my facilitators, or that means I can like be more readily available to create more things because I'm financially secure. So this is kind of the thinking that goes on. My old assistant, Jess, she worked with me for 7 years, and I miss her. I miss her so much. And she used to say to me, Holly, people's minds would be blown at your business acumen if they knew what you did behind the scenes to make this work. And I just don't really share this stuff because I don't know. I remember my background's in strategic marketing. Like I was helping businesses build businesses. So this is just kind of stuff that I know, and I forget that not everyone does. But this is why I have run on the 4th of January. My business will be 10 years old. This is why I've been able to succeed in the longevity of this business and the growth in this business, even navigating through postpartum and these things. So yeah, these are the kinds of things that I do. Rest and oh, sorry, the mic is being frequency. Maybe there's upgrades happening. Rest and spaciousness to allow invitations. Yes, and yes. So this year I'm scheduling my breaks in. I haven't done that ever before. I've learned that the hard way. And so I think I told you guys in 2 weeks from now, I'm not going to do an episode. I'm not going to do any episodes. So it'll be the following week that you won't get them. You'll have more heads up, but it's a week in January that I am taking off the podcast. I'm taking off readings. I'm taking off everything where I do not work. So that feels nice. I've scheduled that again for when we go to Fiji in May, and I've scheduled it again in December. So because I know December's my busiest time. So in the lead up to that busy time when my little girl's birthday, I'm taking time off. And so that's definitely been something that I have been more aware of in planning my year ahead. When it comes to spaciousness to allow invitations, that has definitely been something that I have really experimented with this year as a projector. And I just keep hearing, and I just kept hearing all year, let life fill the blanks. So rather than me needing to go and actively do things all the time, I'm creating for projectors especially, but for all of us, my biggest thing is visibility. People need to see me and they need to know what I'm doing. They need to know how they can work with me. I need to make it easy for people to pay me. Like, that's my role. Life gets to fill the blanks. So long as I'm showing up, I'm being visible, I'm creating the structures and the systems in my business, I'm studying the things that I love, like astrology, cacao, ceremony. I'm working on myself and my capacity to shine and take up space. That's going to be my word for next year, by the way, guys. Shine. That is my work. And then I'll let life match me, and life will match me with the invitations. Now, here's the other thing, the invitations, the we want to work with you, the can you come and do this retreat? Can you think about this? Can you do this? It's not a yes to every single one, even if I have the space. And that's something else I've been toying with is I really need to sit with invitations when they land and go, is this the best use of my energy and time and the smartest financial business decision for me? And I've been sitting with that with a few things I have said yes to next year that now I'm sitting with and going, was that a reaction as opposed to something really considered and deliberate? So I want to take my space and time when invitation land to actually weigh up how it feels and actually speak out with you guys because I'm self-projecting. So this helps before I go and fill my space and time with stuff. Guys, this has been the most fun. Oh my God, I've loved it. Let me know if you have any questions off the back of today's app. I want you all to have the most magnificent new year possible. 2026, we're in for an incredible year. And I'm not just saying that lightly. If you want to know why, from an energetic standpoint, I'm talking astrology, numerology, energetically, all of it. Come to my New Year's Day ceremony. Even if you can't make it live, you will receive the replay. The link is in my show notes. Please come and join us. It's the most beautiful way to start your year, and it's going to give you the intel you need to set yourself up for a really incredible year. I'm sending you all so much love. Have a happy new year. Actually, I will be back in your ears on, this is literally what the day is like, what the time is like, right? What day is it? I'll be back in your ears on New Year's Eve for your final What Survived for this year. Love you guys.